Hey guys, I'm outside today. There's a machine back there that's driving some pilings. I live near the beach, and there's a salt marsh behind me, and then on the other side of that is the ocean. So that's what the funny noise is in the background, but it was worth it to come out here in the backyard today because my son is inside. They're off from school this week for spring break, and he's listening to some really loud music. So this is my place of peace this morning, except for the machine that's driving the pilings. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my summary of week 5 on the ADF plan, and also some strategies that I have used to make the fasting days easier. There's basically week 5 was pretty much without. There wasn't really anything monumental that happened since my last video. I followed the plan. One thing I've noticed is it's getting easier and easier to fast, which is cool. I'm really not thinking about food on my fasting days, and I'm able to fast longer. For example, yesterday was my 40th day on the plan. It was Palm Sunday, and I didn't eat. I fasted on Saturday, and then I didn't eat in the morning. I wasn't hungry. I got up and worked out, and a lot of times after I work out, I'm not really hungry. So I didn't eat. I went to church, talked to some people, got home about 1 o'clock, and broke my fast at 1 o'clock. So I went 41 hours, basically, maybe 42, without eating anything, and really only suffered maybe 2 hunger pangs that were nothing like they were in the first couple weeks. And they were very manageable. And I'll talk about how I manage hunger pangs here in a minute. But so weighed myself yesterday morning. I'm down another 3 pounds. That makes it in the first 40 days over 30 pounds that I lost. I'm 282.6, and I think it's probably reasonable that I'll be under 280 here by my next weigh. I weigh every 8 days. And actually, I may adjust that. I may weigh every 4 days, but I always weigh. I think of the ADF plan as like a 2-day cycle. So like to me, 2 days is like one part of the cycle. So I don't measure myself every day, because if I'm on an up day where I'm eating, I'm going to weigh so much more. In fact, yesterday, just for hoots, I took my measurement when I woke up after I'd peed and got as much liquid out of me as I could. And then I went back to it after I had water and coffee and everything like that. I went back to it like 2 hours later, and I gained 3 pounds. I mean, so that's how much of a fluctuation there is in weight, and that's why I don't do it every single day. Personally, I know some people who swear by that, and that's what they want to do, and that's cool. But I kind of stretch it out a little bit myself and get hopefully more of an accurate number. But so it was good progress. The progress continues. As long as the scale's going in the right direction, I'm happy. And really, probably 2 to 4 pounds a week is what I would prefer to lose. I really don't want to lose. I had my first 3 weeks where I lost over 7 pounds each week, and that was a bit fast. I'm not trying to have skin hanging off of me and stuff like that. And, I'm just, it's a little more moderate. Take it off a little slower, and then hopefully keep it off. So, week 5 was good, and today's a fast day. I feel fine. I feel strong. Like I say, I broke a 41-hour fast, and I ate all of the food that I was going to eat from 1 o'clock yesterday until 6:30 or so. I probably took in about 2,800 calories. I ate. Okay, you understand? I ate. I was putting food in my mouth. And I feel great today. Today's a fast day. I feel great. So, I wanted to talk about the strategies that I've used to cope with the fasting days and to make the fasting days easier. And one thing I did and have done and continue to do is sort of keep a general idea of what I'm eating on my up days, on the feasting days. Not because I'm concerned about the calories, but because I want to have an understanding of how that food affects me the next day. So in other words, if I eat a lot of protein and fat, how do I feel the next day? Do I have more hunger pangs if I eat carbs or sugary foods? So that's the only thing that I've done. I keep a record. of just general, not counting every calorie. I don't care about that, but I keep a record of how much I'm consuming, or what I'm actually eating, to see how it affects my fast days. I'm all about making those fast days as easy as possible. That's one of my goals here. I'm not a masochist. I'm not trying to suffer, you know. So that's one thing I do, is I record what I eat on the feast days, just in general terms, and so that I think about the next day what it was that I ate and how it affected my sleep, my moods, my energy level, and whether I was hungry or not, things like that. Another thing, I mean, the first and most obvious thing I have to say, if you want to make your fast days easier, drink tons of water. I mean, you need water. You need water all the time, but especially on your fast days, you've got to be putting water in your system. It helps so much with the hunger, with cravings. It's what your body is made of, and you're giving your body what it really needs when you drink water. And you can drink other things too. And I've used, I like teas. I like Earl Grey tea. I like black tea. I like green tea. And sometimes I'll put some stevia in the green tea. I don't really like the taste of stevia, but it is a natural sweetener, so it's not like you need to avoid it. 0 calories, but sometimes I'll sweeten things, but a lot of times I won't, but I'll just drink that tea. I find it helps my stomach. It like settles and calms the stomach to drink something hot or cold. So when you get a hunger pang, if you drink a glass of cold water, you're going to flush that out. I mean, that hunger pang is going to disappear. Or if you sit and like to sip things, I'm a very oral person, so I like to sip coffee, black coffee, tea. And another thing I've used, if I get a really bad hunger pang, here's something I use sparingly. If I'm really struggling, you may recognize this. This is just sparkling mineral water. It's imported from Italy. You can buy it at Walmart. It's like $1.30 a bottle or something like that. If it's good enough for Tony Soprano, it's good enough for me. This is what they drank all the time in The Sopranos. No calories. It's got air in it, so it's something that, you know, that fills you. And another thing I like is, you know, and I don't use these a lot, is just the essence flavored sparkling waters that you can buy at Food Lion or grocery stores everywhere. You have to be careful with these, though. When you buy these, don't buy the ones that have artificial sugars in them. It's seltzer water with just like a flavored essence in it. It's good. There's tons of different flavors. And, you know, I'll drink one of these and not feel guilty at all. There's nothing artificial in it. There's no sugar, no sodium, nothing in it. And it's just something that kind of puts something refreshing, put something with air in it into your stomach, and help you get past that craving. So one thing I do try to avoid is diet drinks. And different people are going to react to this differently. But there was one day when I was in a grocery store and I bought a Coke Zero. Now, I like Coke Zero. It's one of the few diet drinks that I like. I do not like diet drinks. But Coke Zero, Diet Lipton green tea, those are things that I like. But what I found out from drinking that Coke Zero is it made me hungry. I mean, I drank that Coke Zero, and for the next 4 hours, I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was starving. So, live and learn. It's the artificial sugars that are in some drinks. That's what you want to avoid. And it may not affect you the same way. You know, you have to try these things out and experiment. But I avoid diet drinks. I avoid artificial sugar because I know it triggers something inside me where that hormone is just like saying, you need to feed me now. I'm done with this fake crap. You need to put real sugar in here now. So that's one thing I do, is I drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of fluids. Another thing is sugarless gum. I'm an oral type person. I like the texture of foods. I love to eat. I love to drink. I like to kiss. You know, I like my mouth to be engaged in something. So I'll eat some sugarless gum from time to time, just if, you know, not a ton of it because I don't want the artificial sugar, but enough that, you know, it's just something to do with your mouth, something to chew on. If you're the type of person that's like me, it gives you something to chew on that's not going to add calories. Okay, in general terms, I try to stay busy on fast days. I try to keep, the night before a fast day, I'll make a list of things that I want to get done, things that I want to be productive with, things that I want my mind to be focused on. And I do that because one advantage of this eating plan is that you can be very productive because you're not worried and concerned about eating. So I will make a list for myself of things that I want to target the next day and go at it. When I get up that next morning, I do not want to be thinking about food. And I'm not anymore. But part of that is staying busy, staying productive, keeping the mind focused on tasks ahead and things that need to be done helps me not to think about food and to keep going. Now, counterintuitive, I know I just said stay busy, but another thing I do is rest when I need to. I get as much sleep as I can, and for me that's normally 7 hours a night, whether fasting or not. But I've noticed that sometimes when I'm fasting, I need less sleep. And I don't sleep as much at night, and I've kind of like come to terms with that. I don't feel worse the next day or anything. I don't feel like I'm suffering because of it. I just need less sleep. But there was a couple times there, especially in the beginning, in the first few weeks, where if I was feeling fatigued, feeling hungry, feeling kind of weak or something like that, I would just lay down for 20 minutes. So if you have that option available to you, just kind of take a break. Take 15, 20 minutes, close your eyes until it passes. Just refresh yourself a little bit. Go back inside or go where, throw some cold water on your face and you'll feel better. That fatigue will pass. All that fatigue and that stuff I felt in the early days has pretty much passed. And now on my fast days, I just have energy out the yin yang. So, but rest. And when you rest, I found this out. Try to avoid situations that trigger temptations for you. I mean, for me, watching TV a lot of times triggers me to want to eat. So I love to watch, I like the Hodge twins on YouTube, but I have to be careful even when I watch the Hodge twins because they have all these videos where they go out and eat all these things. And if you're suffering a hunger pang or something, you don't need to be looking at people eating food. Don't watch Julia Child do the art of French cooking with all that butter and cream while you're sitting there with your stomach growling. It's just, don't torture yourself, I guess is my philosophy. And there's I'm not going to go out to eat with friends or with family if I'm on a fast day. I'm just not going to do that. My goal right now is to lose weight. The people behind me are trying to get their homes ready for the summer season. I'm trying to get my body ready not just for the summer season, but for the rest of my life. So you have to assess your goals. If you know what triggers you to want to eat or to think about food, avoid those things. Very simple. Just try to avoid those situations. And another thing that I do is engage with other people. It's not that easy to find a lot of people who are doing this eating plan, but they are out there, and there's a lot of them online. There's an alternate day fasting page on Facebook. There's stuff on my MyFitnessPal community, and there's stuff on YouTube. There's people out there that are doing this plan that can help motivate you. And that's what I did, especially in my early stages, is I would watch people's testimonials. I would watch their, and educate myself about intermittent fasting and ADF and the 5-2 diet and what people were doing. And that's one way that I would motivate myself, knowing that other people had good results and that they were doing these things as well. And so engage with other people, engage with the community. If you don't have anyone in your family, like I don't, that's following a plan like this or has any desire to, they are out there. Just go look for them. And one other thing that I do is when a tough hunger pang hits me, or when I'm just like, man, I just feel like eat. I'm bored. A lot of times I eat because emotional, there's something emotionally going on that makes me want to eat. I remind myself why I'm doing this to begin with. And I'm doing it, and you have your own personal reasons, but I remind myself, I want to live longer. I want to be here to see my kids grow up. I want to be here to meet my grandchildren. My dad died when he was 56. He didn't meet my children for the most part, just the first couple. But, I want to be around a long time. I want to live a long time. And I want to live a joyous life, And so find joy. I'm finding joy even in this fasting because I know the end game. I'm thinking about the long view and the end result, that I want to be around for my family. And I want to have a healthy body. I want to be able to function and do things and have all my faculties and reasoning and have my mind as long as I can, and be useful and enjoy life as long as I can. And so I remind myself of those things, even if I have a tough hunger pain, of the reason why I'm doing this. And another thing I tell myself is if the family goes out and they get, some great fried fish or something from one of the local restaurants, I say I can have it tomorrow. I tell myself that all the time. I can have it tomorrow. Tomorrow's just a day away. Who said that? Little Orphan Annie? I don't know, but tomorrow is just a day away. It's whatever thing that I'm putting aside, I'm only putting it aside for a few more hours, and then I can have it. And so that helps carry me through as well. Hope some of these strategies work for you. I'd love to hear other people's strategies about what they do to cope with hunger or to stay on track, keep motivated. There is no weight loss plan. In fact, there's nothing in life that's worth doing that doesn't require some element of self-control and discipline. And when you've never really applied it to eating before, it is a bit challenging, but it's not impossible. And so what I'm doing here is not impossible. It's really not that hard. It's not that difficult, and it gets easier every day. Have a good one.